else. Unattractive, unmotivated, distant. He was just plain hard to like. Even though his teacher said she loved all in her class the same, down inside she wasn't being completely truthful. Whenever she marked Teddy's papers, she got a certain perverse pleasure of putting great big X's next to the wrong answers. And when she put F's at the top of the papers, she always did it with a flair. She should have known better. She had Teddy's records, and she knew more about this little boy than she wanted to admit. The records read, first grade, Teddy showed promise with his work and attitude, but has a poor home situation. Second grade, Teddy could do much better. Mother is seriously ill. He receives little help at home. Third grade, Teddy is a good boy, but just too serious. He's a slow learner, and his mother died this year. Fourth grade, Teddy is very slow, but well-behaved. His father shows absolutely no interest. Christmas came, and the boys and the girls of Miss Thompson's class all brought her Christmas presents. They piled their presents on her desk and crowded around to watch her open them. Among the presents, there was one from Teddy Stollard. She was surprised that he had brought her a gift, but he had. Teddy's gift was wrapped in brown paper and was held together with Scotch tape. On the paper were written the simple words, "For Miss Thompson, from Teddy." When she opened Teddy's present, out fell a gaudy rhinestone bracelet. Half the stones were missing, and the bottle of cheap perfume. The other boys and girls who saw this began to giggle and smirk over Teddy's gifts, but at least Miss Thompson had enough sense to silence them by immediately putting on some of that perfume and holding up her wrists for them. And she said, "Doesn't this smell lovely, boys and girls?" And the children, taking their cue from the teacher, readily agreed with ooh and ahs. At the end of the day, when school was over and the other children had left, Teddy lingered behind them all, off to the side. He slowly came to her desk and said softly, Miss Thompson, you smell just like my mother. And her bracelet looks real pretty on you, too. I'm glad you like my presents, Miss Thompson." When Teddy left, Miss Thompson got down on her knees and asked God to forgive her. The next day, when the children came back to school, they were welcomed by a brand new teacher. Miss Thompson had become a different person. She was no longer just a teacher. She had become an agent of God. She was now a person committed to loving her children and doing things for them that would live on far after her. She helped all the children, but especially the slow ones, and particularly Teddy. By the end of that school year, Teddy showed dramatic improvement. He caught up with most of the students and was even ahead of some of them. She didn't hear from Teddy for a long, long time. And one day, she received a note that simply read, "Dear Miss Thompson, I wanted you to be the first to know. I will be graduating second in my class. Love, Teddy Stollard." 4 years passed, and another note came. "Dear Miss Thompson, they just told me I will be graduating first in my class. I wanted you to be the first to know. The university has not been easy, but I liked it. Love, Teddy Stollard." And 4 years later, "Dear Miss Thompson, as of today, I am Theodore Stollard, M.D. How about that? I wanted you to be the first to know. I'm also getting married next month, the 27th to be exact, and I want you to come and to sit where my mother would sit if she were alive. You are the only family that I have now. Dad died last year. Love, Teddy." Miss Thompson went to that wedding and sat where Teddy's mother would have sat. She deserved to sit there. She had done something for Teddy that he could never forget. Who are the Teddy Stollards of your life? You know, they're all around you. They're right before you. They're in the classroom. They're in the marketplace. And they're even in your own home. Our challenge is to each of you. We want you to become a Miss Thompson to every person that you meet, to take the torch that we've passed to you and to pass it on to someone else, and to another, and to another. You know, you may never have thought that teaching could literally change the world, but there was one person who did, and his name was Jesus Christ, the master teacher, who gave us clear instructions when he said, "Go into all the world and do what?" Remember what he said? He said, "Teach them." Teach them in a certain way. Teach them to observe all things that I've commanded you. Well, that's the big idea of the entire 7 Laws of the Learner course, to teach all things. Thank you again for being such an important part of this series. It's our prayer that the 7 Laws of the Learner will enable you to do your part in teaching for life change, until life change literally becomes world change.